I am Amber Passy, the current Editor-in-Chief, or EIC, of the Student Research Journal at San Jose State University. The journal is entirely run by graduate students in the School of Information. Our primary goal is to give every graduate student a positive experience with the peer review process. Secondary to that goal is publishing the excellent work of graduate students from around the world. As I stepped into the role of EIC, I read through months of previous correspondence between former EICs and manuscript authors. As EICs followed up with authors on whether they would revise and resubmit their manuscripts, I developed a general impression of the responses from these authors, which was that authors were surprised their manuscripts needed revising and seemed unprepared for the task. As a result, there were many manuscripts with excellent potential for publication that were not revised nor published. Alongside my work as the EIC, I took Info 254, Information Literacy and Learning. We had a discussion early in the semester where we expressed our thoughts on the scholarly conversation. Several classmates shared how intimidated they were to join the scholarly conversation. Two main concerns were, first, they felt they were coming to the conversation too late and couldn't catch up. And second, they didn't feel prepared to publish their ideas in an academic journal. These concerns, coupled with the trend I saw in manuscript authors, inspired me to find a way to make joining the scholarly conversation more accessible. This presentation focuses on the progress I have made so far in identifying the problem of why grad students are not becoming published authors and creating an artifact as a solution to that problem. My core question is, how do we educate students on joining the scholarly discourse to increase their likelihood of seeing a manuscript submitted to the Student Research Journal through to its publication? Thesis: by providing a clear graphic on the peer review process, graduate student authors will be better prepared to receive and act on feedback from their peer reviewers. I looked for ways to encourage students to submit their papers with a clearer understanding of the process and to expect to revise their paper to meet publication standards. My first effort was to create this graphic representation of the publication cycle, including the various touch points for authors. Showing the entire process of both the editorial team and the author has been a good graphic for new editors and has been added to their onboarding training. Unfortunately, this graphic proved to be overwhelming for student authors. In order to meet my goal of making the scholarly conversation more accessible to students, I needed a different approach. In Info 254, we had an assignment to create an online teaching session on an information literacy topic of our choice. I used this assignment to create a webinar about the scholarly conversation and how accessible it is for graduate students, especially in SJSU's iSchool with the Student Research Journal. I presented this webinar to 7 students in the class with these learning objectives. 1. Students will identify ways to join the scholarly conversation, and 2. Students will be able to describe the publication cycle of the Student Research Journal. I received feedback from each of them on the topic, the presentation, and how they connected with the information. From this feedback, I identified the main aspects of the publication cycle that were of most interest to graduate students, then created an author-focused infographic to walk authors through the publication cycle, from submission to publication. This graphic presents the process in 5 linear steps while still illustrating the iterative nature of preparing a manuscript for publication. I received very encouraging feedback, including these 2 quotes. "Thank you for sharing with us this information about the SJSU Student Research Journal. I'm excited to be part of this scholarly conversation." And, "Your presentation felt especially insightful and has me thinking about submitting some of my own work." I am currently revising the webinar and planning to present it during the spring semester to all iSchool graduate students who may be interested. I have grown professionally as I've listened and applied feedback from my colleagues and refined the presentation of my message. I'm excited to continue advocating for the Student Research Journal and creating a positive experience for graduate student authors as they join the scholarly conversation.